It's still Breakfast Connect here on Africa Business Radio, and we are joined in the studio by the COO of a Nigerian real estate company that is committed to finding practical solutions to the requests and challenges of clients in that sector. Please help us welcome Amara Musa of Wren, Regent, property developers and marketers. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's start from the very beginning. Tell us what you're all about.
We provide rental and sales in the commercial and residential real estate sectors. So we try to provide a 360-degree orientation of the real estate market to our demographic. I think we pride ourselves in providing a very personal service. So we are always thinking about the client. It's more than a transaction to us. It's always about a relationship. So, and it's always about recognizing the processes involved and growing with the client in their choices. A lot of times, people meet you with certain expectations of the real estate market. So we make it our responsibilities to not just sell you properties or show you properties, but to educate you. So to us, it's in the details. Details matter. And in talking about details, we're talking about details in providing a particular service to our client base. I think that's how we definitely set ourselves apart, and also our marketing style.
Fantastic. Talking about, the effects of the coronavirus, some say the effects of the coronavirus, we are already feeling it now. Some say it will come much later. Where do you stand in that? Are we feeling it now? Will it come as an aftershock? Or is there no effect at all?
One thing I always say is I am comfortable in the real estate market because I believe I provide a service that caters to a need as opposed to a want. Shelter is a requirement for any human on the surface of this earth, and that is why I enjoy what I do. The real estate sector will always be like food, will always be like transportation. It will be affected in that the desires and the direction on the investment choices will narrow down to maybe not the luxury market, but it will still be a necessity. People will still want it. It will still be in demand. And it's now about just channeling your resources to what suits the current state of the economy. And with the COVID pandemic, it has affected various areas of our economy. But what now people would consider is, okay, do I need a 10 million naira per annum house? Maybe because of the pandemic and because of the slowdown in the economy, I should get a 6 million naira house. So in that area, I have seen, and my team and I have seen that shift from investments in higher end properties to investment in what I like to call practical investments, in that not too high, things that can allow me to be part of the real estate space, but not necessarily break my ankle with it because of the change in times. With the COVID pandemic, there is definitely some discrepancies in the commercial space. People are getting comfortable working from home. People are now understanding that remote working is actually a possibility. And because of that, the orientation has changed. The working orientation has changed. So before now, in fact, we had a lot of serviced offices, co-working spaces sprouting from all areas of Lagos. It was becoming a global phenomenon, this idea of flexible working spaces. But COVID has now even made us, it's allowed us to see that the flexibility can even expand further to even being able to work remotely from home. So definitely commercial spaces are, I wouldn't say suffering, but they are experiencing a change because companies are now scaling down. Teams are now working in different areas. They don't have to all be in the same room now because thanks to Zoom and the technology that has presented itself in these times. So that's the commercial space is finding itself in an evolving state here. But the residential real estate market will forever be, where were you coming from this morning?
Home.
Thank you. And, and that's one thing we all have in common. We all have a home. Whether your home is finer than my own is another conversation for another day. But you came from home. Yeah. I came from home. My clothes are in a house. My property is in a house. And that is what it is. It's property.
And real estate will always appreciate.
Yes, and that's the thing. But real estate will always appreciate. But what I will say to you is slow and steady wins the race. That is what applies in the real estate world.
Do you enjoy selling homes for person to person, or selling homes rather than selling office spaces?
I personally, I'm not supposed to say this. In fact, my chairman always tells me, don't tell people there's no one you cannot do. Do everything. Do. But I personally don't share that belief. I believe that you have a niche. I believe that you own a space. And I think Wren Regent Properties Limited has we're a boutique real estate agency, and we have a number of agents running in different spaces. And though I am COO, I specialize in the residential space. We have we have senior sales associates. We have our sales associates who cater to other areas of the real estate market. So, but I personally find enjoyment in the residential space. Not because they're easier, but more so because I personally have always enjoyed the idea of home. And family, and the concept of what family represents. And I find it very comfortable to engage with my clients in that space. I like to identify what they need from that space and provide it for them to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, I can just imagine. Let's talk about the Lagos tenancy law of 2011. A lot of landlords still demand for rent on an annual basis. Do you think, this can ever be enforced?
I think that it goes beyond just the story of the landlord and the tenant. I think the story begins with the systems in place laid for landlords and tenants to operate in. It is very, very difficult to compare the real estate market overseas and in Nigeria because and the expectations from it, because in order for the behaviors of landlords and tenants to tally with the framework that our counterparts abroad have, the structure in place for them to operate in also has to tally with what's abroad. Properties are paid for in hard cash here. Abroad, there's a mortgage system running it. So a lot of times what you find is a win-win situation for both the landlord and the tenant, in that I pay you your rent per month, you service your mortgage every month, and we're both happy. At the end of so amount of years, after using my rent to service your mortgage, you have yourself a property in your name. Congrats. Whereas in Nigeria, such is not the case. I save my money over the years. I put it all together and I put it all in this one property. And you want me to be taking your rent month by month? I'm happy you're laughing. I am very happy you're laughing.
It's the tone with which you said it.
But you have to see the challenges that presents itself with landlord. Now, following from that, if I then decide to collect rent month to month, and we have no system in place in terms of accountability. Now, if abroad I decide to run away and not pay my rent and move to a different state, all they have to do is boom, 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 boom. Where did she use her credit card last? What location was she in? What address? They will find me. I have my postcode registered or my zip code registered to somewhere. I have my information all in one lovely data area. And they can find me. If they don't find me, I can come back home and I will have a pile of envelopes waiting for me at home. Unpaid, red stamp, rent stamp, all everywhere. Late payment. Over here, you can pack your load and go, and no one will find you. They can tell you to fill a guarantor's form, but how guaranteed is the guarantor?
Is the guarantor himself or herself?
But it is also not easy to make a full cash investment and not redeem that investment in good return within good time.
Within good time, yeah, totally understand.
Almost every property that we market on our portfolio is a property where we have had a relationship with the owner, a relationship with the developer, a relationship whose interest it is to let go of this property, and we can provide that assurance based on our past relationships.
Do you think the professional body of real estate agents and property consultants are doing enough, or is there something else that needs to be done in that area to further improve the sentiment surrounding the industry?
Definitely. The only proper body that really takes care of property agents are for estate surveyors. And not everyone who is in the real estate space is interested in being a surveyor. And surveyors are not necessarily good property agents. They don't have to particularly be very good property consultants. Not that they are not, but it doesn't have to be that way. With regards to the agency that protects agents, I wish it was louder. I wish it was stricter. I wish it was more regulated in order to distinguish between my apple and my competitor's apple. Entry is very easy.
Door.
Yes, it's not a wide door. It's a gate. Entry is very wide, and because entry is very wide, you find everyone thinks they can do it. Property consultancy is really about taking care of people. If you don't have a genuine interest in taking care of people, you will find it very difficult to succeed in the space. Because when you take care of people, you have to be aware of their problems, their issues, their situations, and you have to listen.
Yeah, let's talk about something that's been in the news in the last couple of days, and it's this stamp duty issue with the FIRS. There has been some pushback against it. What's your take on it?
Abroad, you can own a house from 18. Not like you just can. You can physically own your own house from 18 because it is possible. Here, we have people currently struggling to pay rent of 300,000 naira. It's important to focus on what the right issues are. I feel sometimes that's where we lose the picture.
The plot.
Yes. Collecting tax on rent is something that should be addressed. But there are bigger issues. There are bigger potholes in the real estate industry that need catering to.
Is it like, when we have potholes right now,
yes,
and then they are painting the guardrails?
Yes,
because I see
didn't
that,
even mean potholes literally.
I
but
see that,
yes,
that's actually going on right now. They are doing a lot of guardrail painting, and I'm wondering,
there you go.
Seriously, is this what we need right now?
There you go. There are buildings collapsing on people. And what we're now thinking about is how to collect more money from people. I think it's important. I just don't think it's priority. Let's focus on building regulations that will be compliant with living standards, with health and safety. Let's focus on providing a platform for players in the industry to feel a sense of worth. Let's focus on providing a structure that will filter out those who are, for lack of a better word, demeaning the industry and what it represents. I enjoy being a player of the real estate industry. I enjoy being a part of this world. I feel blessed every day to be a part of this world. But I am sometimes saddened by the things I face every day. Sometimes the people I even have to interact with in order to make my client happy. And it's because my country could do better for me. My country could do better for me. My country could do better to support me. My country could make it a space where I can be very fluid. I don't have to do everything out of our own resources. But that withstanding, I think we got this still. We do. We still shine. We still stay positioned well within the industry, and we're very happy for what has been accomplished over the years.
Fantastic. Well, it's been very, very educative, and enlightening having
Amazing.
This discussion with you.
Amazing.
I think, you've dotted all the I's and crossed many, many T's, in this conversation. Thank you very much for being our guest this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I enjoyed myself. I truly did.
As all our guests do here on Breakfast Connected.